afternoon. Let's take a look at your worksheet 2.1 here and what you've been asked to do with these particular problems. So if we take a look at number 1, it says the average points per game scored by each NFL team during the 2013 regular season are listed below. So you see here we have 32 data points. And question A, you're asked to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. So the best thing for you to do on this particular problem is to go to your stat key on your calculator and go under edit, and under the edit we're going to hit number 1. We're going to type in all this data into list 1. So if I open up my calculator, I hit the stat key, right under edit, go ahead and select number 1, you can actually see that I have the data already listed there in list 1. So take a second, pause the video, enter in your data. In fact, if you're going to do number 2, enter problem number 2 into list 2 and then unpause the video and we'll continue on. Alright, now if we want to answer the question in part A pretty quickly, to find the mean, the median, and the mode and the range, quickest way to do it is to go ahead and hit your stat key. So we're going to hit the stat key again. We're going to use the right arrow key and highlight and choose number 1, which is one variable stats. This key is huge. That gives you so much information and will answer many of your questions for you. So if I go stat, right arrow, under calc, number 1 says one variable statistics. It defaults to list 1. So I don't have to type anything for at least the football scores here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and voila, X bar is my mean. So I can go ahead and write that in as 26.6625. If I go back to my calculator and scroll down, it will give me my 5-number summary down there, which will actually be the answer to B, but I want to just note my median right there at 20.025. 20.05. Now the mode is a little bit more challenging. The mode is the most, so probably the best way to go through it is to take a look at your data points and see are there ones that repeat the most often. Well, if I look at my data set, I have a couple 18.8s right there. If I continue on and kind of scroll along here, I think 22.1 occurs right here. Does it pop up? I think it might pop up in another place. Let's see here, right up above it. So it happens twice. And are there any others here? I see it 226.7s. So what happens with mode again is the one that has the most has to have at least more than one for it to have a mode. So here we actually have 3 modes at 18.8, at 22.1, and at 26.7. To do your range, you're going to do your max score minus your min score. So if you go back to your calculator here and your 5-number summary, you'll see a max of 30.8 and a min of 10.5. We'll note those right here. So to get our range, it's 30.8 minus 10.5, or I get 20.3. Now, next question asks you to do the 5-number summary. We've actually been looking at the 5-number summary. So on my screen here, I just want to note these 2 along with Q1 and Q3 there. So I'm just going to close that off so that I can write on the screen. So my 5-number summary, my min, again, was equal to 10.5. My Q1 was 18.4. My median was 20.05. My Q3 was 23.25. And my max was equal to 30.8. The 5-number summary is going to help you a ton when graphing it. So in part C, you're asked to graph the box and whisker pot. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw myself on an x-axis. I'm going to label it my scores. I'm going to just note that it's in points. Okay. NFL scores here. So I'm going to start here down at 10, since my min was about 10.5. But count by fives, 15, 20, 25, and 30. I don't think I have to go past 30. Well, I'll put a 35 because since our max value was 30.8, I'll put that on there. So it shows the whole graph past 30. So depending on where you want to start, I tend to start with a min and max. So here I'm at 10.5 roughly, and then 30.8. Draw two lines. I also draw lines for my Q1 at 18.4. So draw that, estimate where that is. And then my median was at about 20, just a little bit more than 20. And my Q3 was 23.25. So now what I can do is I can connect the tops of the middle half, that's my interquartile range, draw whiskers to both ends. Okay. So now the last part here is I want to describe the data. Is it symmetric or skewed? Well, if I look up here, it seems to be fairly balanced on the left side as it does on the right side. So since it seems to be fairly balanced, I'm going to say it is fairly symmetric. And that's it for number 1. All right, for number 2, if you haven't entered your data in yet, go ahead and enter it in list 2, because we're going to do the exact same thing, just with different data points. So number 2 here, it says the ages of the 25 wealthiest people in the world are listed as follows. So it looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 18, 20. Looks like Mr. Bartz has a little mistake here. I apologize. That really should be 26 wealthiest people in the world are listed. So we actually have 26 people listed. However, you can enter in those data points in. So once you have them into your calculator, so just to show you that I actually have them in there, you can see I put them in list 2. This is going to be important on this next step. So what I can do is I can go stat, one variable statistics, but I can't just hit enter. I have to tell it list 2. So to tell it list 2, I hit the second key and the 2. Notice how it says there L2 above the number 2. Once I put list 2, I can hit enter and it will give me all the values that I need. So just to let you know, I'm just going to scroll down here. You can see my 5-number summary. I'm actually going to write that down also and do part B and part A kind of at the same time. Okay? So just to note some of these values, my mean, looking at my calculator, 61.346. The median when I was looking at my 5-number summary was 59. Okay? My range, my max was 87. My min was 32. So I have a range of 55 years. So since we're talking about age here, we can actually put a units on it. Now for my mode, I'm looking for the most repeated age. So if I look here, I see a couple 49s. And if I keep on looking, see if there are any other ages, I see 2 59s. And I think we had a couple 84s. I see an 84 and an 84. So all the rest of them were all different. So we actually have 3 modes, one at 49, one at 59, and one at 84. Now, 5-number summary, just again to pop it up back for you, you can just jot these numbers down, 32, 50, 59, 76, and 87. So I'm going to note those here. So again, my min was 32, my Q1 was 50, my median was 59, my Q3 was 76, and my max was 87. So now I can draw myself a box and whisker plot. So we're talking about age of people. So since I go in the 30s, I'm going to start at 30 and go all the way up to 90 by 10s. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So now I can go ahead and start drawing in. So I have 32 My max was 87, and then I was at 50 for Q1, median was at 59, and then at 76. Make my box, and I got my whiskers. So now if I look at this one, you can start to see that the whisker on the left side is a little bit longer than the right side. So because of that, we can say that the data is skewed at least a little bit to the left. All right, that ends page 1.